नमस्कारः श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। यो नित्यमच्युतपदां भुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवत्पादैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये। यत्पदाम्भोरुहध्यानविध्वस्ता शेषकल्मषः वस्तुतामुपयातोऽहं यामुनेयं नमामि तम्। Namaskaras to everybody. We should continue from the pranams. We should continue from the 16th verse of the 9th chapter. The 9th chapter, Bhagavan talks about Bhakti Yoga and his own bhaktas, basically. In the 16th verse, page 306 of the text, 16th verse, Tathahi Vishvashariraha Ahameva Avasthitaha Ityaha. So Bhagavan educates Arjuna about his own nature. Aham kraturaham yajnaha swadhaham aham aushadham mantro ahame vajyam aham agniraham hutam. Just like how the Upanishads, they describe Brahman by explaining his various features and other attributes. For example, when the Upanishad wants to say that Brahman is all pervasive, it gives some dimensions to make the people understand. Like it would say, it does not have legs, it does not have hands, yet it moves, it is unmoving, it is faster than the fastest object. The Upanishad says Paramatma is unmoving. Immediately it says it's faster than all the moving objects. So how can something which does not move be faster than all the moving objects? So the meaning, the import, the purport is that Brahman is all pervasive. So to explain or to elucidate the all pervasive nature of Brahman, the Upanishad comes out with various dimensions. Likewise, Krishna, he says the entire creation is like his Sharira, and since he is the inner dweller, he is the Antaryami of all the beings, and because he is the Antaryami, everything else exists. He gives different dimensions. Aham Kratuhu, I am the very Yajna. I am Kratuhu, I am Yajna, I am Svadha, Aham Aushadham, Aham Mantraha, Aham Ajyam, Aham Agnihi, Aham Hutam. So everything that belongs to the sacrifice, that is me. Know that to be me. I am everything. Like this, he says. Why? Because this would help the reader or the mumukshu to have more regard for the Paramatma, and that's why the feeling that without Paramatma we wouldn't exist. Therefore, we owe everything to Paramatma. So in this manner, there arises the chance of bhakti to arise is very high. Therefore, Bhagavan tells he is everything. Next, Pita Mahasya Jagato Mata Dhata Pita Mahaha Vedyam Pavitram Omkaraha Riksama Yajurevacha. Then another dimension, know me to be the father, mother, creator, grandfather, everything. I am everything. Then Pavitram, I am the purifier, I am the most pure, and then I also purify. I am the Omkara, the syllable Om, it represents me. Then I am Samaveda, I am Yajurveda, and I am Rigveda also. Gatir Bharta Prabhu Sakshi Nivasa Sharanam Suhrut Prabhava Pralayasthanam Nidhanam Bijam Abhyayam. I am the Gatihi means I am the destiny or destination, I am the goal. Bharta, I am the supporter. Prabhu, I am the Lord. Sakshi, witness. Nivasaha, the abode. Sharanam, refuge. Suhrit. Suhrit means we say friend, but a friend is supposed to be of same age. Mostly in worldly experience, Friend is someone who would be of the same age, right? And we have a lot of confusion in calling people as a friend. We would call, if you remember in ourselves in school, uh, every schoolmate would be a friend. While introducing a schoolmate or while introducing a classmate, you say he is my friend. But everybody cannot become a friend. But we misuse that word. Whereas Suhrut means Hitaishi, says Ramanuja. Anybody can be a Suhrut. For a 10-year person, a 50-year person can be a Suhrut. For a 50-year person, also a 20-year person can be a Suhrut. Suhrut means well-wisher. Let us say well-wisher. So in that manner, Bhagavan is the well-wisher, ultimate well-wisher for everybody. Sthanam, I am the seat of origin. Nidhanam, I am the seat of dissolution. Then Avyayam Bijam, I am the imperishable seed of all creation. Therefore, without Bhagavan, nothing can exist. He creates, he sustains, and then he makes everything undergo laya in him. The next is very beautiful verse. Tapam yaham aham varsham nigranham mitsujami cha amritam chaiva mrityuscha sadasachaham arjuna sadasachaham arjuna. It is I who afflict with heat. It is I who pour rain, or it is I who is behind raining, and it's I who withhold rain and heat. Like this, Bhagavan says, and I am Amrita, I am Mrityu, I am both Sat and I am Asat. Bhashyakara says, Agnyadityadi Rupena Ahameva Tapami, page 308. In the form of fire, it is I who afflict, or I who extend heat. Here, so this bhava is highly appreciated by the Ayuvars in their pasurams. Tiyai, Kalai, Nilanai, like this Ayuvar says. So everything is Bhagavan. Even Bharatiyar, the famous poet Bharati, he said, தீக்குள் விரலை விட்டால் நந்தலாலா உன்னை தீண்டும் இன்பம் தோன்றுதையே. I, I think somehow I'm able to relate that to this verse. Maybe he read the Gita. I think he has written a commentary to the Gita, I have heard. So here, this could be an inspiration for Bharati to sing, that Mahakavi Bharati to sing, Bharatiyar, that in fact the very fire is Bhagavan himself. And therefore, even that heat, it gives the Paramatma Anubhava. So it could be. Then Sat and Asat, the most misunderstood words, Sat and Asat. If you look at Ramanuja's commentary, the fourth line, Sat Yad Vartate, Asat Yat Atitam Anagatam Cha. Sat is what is existing for the moment. Asat is what existed before and what will exist later from this moment. So all these are new, know to be new only. Okay. Then this is about so far about the bhaktas and jnanis, let us say. Now Bhagavan tells about those who are yet to acquire knowledge about Paramatma and moksha, etc. Now he is in two verses, he is going to talk about them, and then again he is going to get back to his bhaktas. Trividyamam somapah putapapa yajnerištva svargatim prathayante te punyamasadya surendra lokam ashnanti divyan divideva bhogan. Trividya. Trividyaha means one who are well versed in the karma kanda. One who are well versed in the three Vedas, but they focus on the karma kandas. Somapaha. The Soma juice is extolled in the Vedas, and one who drinks the Soma juice after performing the Soma Yajna, etc., he is believed to be relieved of all papas. That's why they become Puta papas. Swargatim prarthayante. But what do they wish to attain after getting rid of papas? They want to reach the Swarga. But yeah, after reaching Swargaloka, they experience the bhogas over there. So these people, they get the eligibility to go to Swargaloka and other lokas to explain the Punya Vishesha over there. Now, what happens to them? Do they continue to experience the Punya Anubhava or Swarga Anubhava forever? 21st verse on page 310. Krishna says, Tetam bhuktva Swargalokam Vishalam Kshine punye matya lokam vishanti. Evam tayi dharma manuprapanna. Gata agatam kama kama labhante. They too, but they, after experiencing or after enjoying the pleasures, bhoga of Swarga, after their balance is over, after let us say the credit card limit is breached or the points are redeemed, then they have to come back to this earth. Matya lokam vishanti. Therefore, who follow the Vedic rituals are drawn by the desires, they come and go. They keep coming and going. In contrast, what do the bhaktas do? The bhaktas, they pray to Bhagavan for the sake of praying, for the sake of attaining Bhagavan, and therefore they attain moksha. They are not born again. So to give the contrast, uh, 22, 22nd verse, page 310. Ananya chintayanto mam ye janah paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshem vahamyaham. Aham vahami, I bear or I take care. What is that? Yoga and kshema. Yoga and kshema, I take care. Of whom? Tesham nityabhiyuktanam. To those who are always thinking upon me, who are always aspiring for the union with me, who are always with me, who have me in their thoughts. In fact, in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, if you look at the Kalakshepa Granthas, some of the acharyas would be referred to as Abhiyuktargal. Endru Abhiyuktargal Puruvargal. Abhiyuktar Puruvar. Like this, we can see in the Manipravala Tamil Granthas written by acharyas. Even Swami Deshika uses this word when they don't want to refer the name, but they would just keep the reference. So that word Abhiyukta is being mentioned in the Gita, Nitya Abhiyuktana. How do they remember Bhagavan? How do they do the upasana? Ananyaha chintayantaha mam. Without having an eye for anything else, they worship Bhagavan. Paryupasate, upasate, upasate, pari upasate, paryupasate. Paritaha upasate, paryupasate. So paryupasate means, Ramanuja says, paritaha upasate, anyunam upasate. Without leaving any gaps, or without any without missing anything, they do the upasana thinking about nothing else apart from Bhagavan. So our own acharyas and avivas can be examples for these, though they are said to be prapannas, they were not bhakti yoga nishtas, yet we could imagine or we could think about them on this lines, that they had this capacity to be with Bhagavan always, to have Bhagavan in their minds always. Now, yoga and kshema. In another verse, I think we already saw yoga kshema. In the usual parlance, yoga means what we desire, to have, but yet we do not have. Kshema is what we already have. So yoga means Bhagavan ensures that we get what we don't have. Kshema means he ensures that what we have does not leave us. This is the superficial meaning. But here Ramanuja, not in this verse, but elsewhere, he says yoga kshema also is with respect to Bhagavan only. It represents the very thoughts about Bhagavan. But such a beautiful verse here, Bhagavan gives a pratigya. It is for us to believe in him. His words. He says, Yoga Kshemam Aham Bahami. Yoga Kshemam Aham Bahami. Now, how do we know? What is the guarantee now? Like, as kids, when we learned to walk, in fact, standing up on those 2 feet, tiny feet, it's one of the remarkable achievements for human beings. If you look at animals, very casually they try on the as soon as they are born, they get up and then they are up running. But human beings, we take so much of time to go through the process. First to turn over, then to move, then to sit, then slowly climb and then walk. If you visualize those moments, in which our own kids perhaps because as we try to walk, we would not remember, but whenever our own kids they try to walk, we would be away, let us say 2-3 feet away from them, and then show them the hands like come come wow. Then the kids would first start, they will smile, they would cry, they would show emotions because they lack the confidence that they would be able to walk. So when they actually do it, the confidence comes from the fact that we are there to hold them. So with that faith, with that natural confidence, the kids are able to walk and be confident to walk more. Likewise, Bhagavan says, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham, but we should have a conviction to stand up and to walk towards him. Hello, are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But we should have the conviction to stand up and then walk to him. Anugil, Anugum, Agalil, Agalam, says Alvar. Bhagavan is a person, if we approach him, then he would approach us more. If we stay away from him, then he would from us more, stay away from us more. Therefore, here, but Bhagavan gives a guarantee that Tesham Yogakshema Mahamyaham. This is the case with Kuchela. This is the case with many other bhaktas in the let us say in the Puranas and Itihasas and Puranas. So Bhagavan has taken care of their welfare, their prosperity or whatever, provided those bhaktas do not actually think about anything. Okay. येऽप्यन्य देवता भक्ता यजन्ते श्रद्धया अन्विताः तेऽपि मामेव कौन्तेय यजन्त्य विधिपूर्वकम्. But there are some who do not know that Paramatma is the Antaryami of even all the devatas. So they resort to other devatas without knowing that it is Paramatma who is everything and who partakes all the ahuti, etc. But Bhagavan says they also actually worship me. But they also actually worship me. But only thing is they don't know. They don't know that they are worshipping me. But ultimately, it is me who is getting pleased with their worship also. So Ramanuja would give example like this. If there is a king, he is wearing nice attire, dress upon his person, and if there are if his prajas, if his subjects, they wish to greet him on his birthday or whatever, so they offer garlands, they offer something which is worn on the shirt actually, which is worn on the shirt, the upper garment. Now, we cannot say that the king won't be enjoying that anubhava of wearing a garland because it is only on his shirt. Obviously, we wouldn't say. So what it means is that though the mala is put on the upper garment or shirt, yet that anubhava or that bhava, it belongs to the king. In the same way, all the devatas are like shariras to Bhagavan. Even though some people may not know, they would propitiate or worship other devatas. The ultimate the bhava is of our Bhagavan. Like for example, the same kid example, when the kids are being extolled and the kids are being regarded, it is the parents who get the maximum pleasure out of it. In the same way, so they're actually pleasing the parent. Like if a king's son, a prince is there, and when the prince is praised in the assembly, it is the king who gets the maximum, or the queen gets the maximum enjoyment out of it. The same way, Bhagavan says, even though they are devoted to other divinities, other devatas, without knowing that I am the Antaryami, ultimately it is me who is getting pleased. Okay. Next, 312, page 24, shloka 24. Aham hi sarvayajnana bhokta cha prabhureva cha nadumam abhijananti tattena taschavanti te. Tattena taschavanti te. So those bhaktas, the problem with them is that they do not know that Bhagavan is the bhokta of all the sacrifices. Though they say Indra is Swaha, though Indra may come and take the sacrifice, it is Bhagavan who is the bhokta of that sacrifice because he is the Antaryami of the of the devata also. Okay, but any sukha that this body experiences, it actually belongs to the atma. The sukhana bhava, it belongs to the atma. In the same way, any offering that is made in the sacrifice, it belongs to Bhagavan ultimately. But those who do not know, what they do is that, sorry, they don't go beyond the other devatas. Therefore, they don't get the tattva jnana, and they are not able to attain uh, the spiritual heights, and ultimately they're not able to attain moksha, we can say. Now, Ramanuja very beautifully he highlights one important aspect to understand this. In the Vedas, there are many rituals, and these rituals are recommended to be performed to please some devatas. Some yagas could be there, they have to be performed to please Indra, some for Varuna, some to Agni Bhagavan, like this. Now, a karma yogi has also to perform the very same rituals mentioned in the Vedas, which are towards pleasing other devatas. Now, what should a karma yogi do now? Should he relook the karma aspect of the Vedas and then say, I will do only those yajnas which are favoring Vishnu. I will not do other yajnas which are not favoring Vishnu. Should he go and sort the karma of mentioned in the Vedas, or what should we do? Then Ramanuja says, interestingly, it is only the sankalpa which matters now. You do any karma suggested by the Vedas, but the very moment you do it, the sankalpa that I am doing this yaga or yajna or karma for the sake of pleasing Bhagavan. I don't have any other intention. I don't want the actual phala of this yajna. Why I do? This is a means for me to propitiate Bhagavan. That's it. Now, this simple sankalpa, but very potent sankalpa, before doing the sacrifice yaga or yajna, it makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference. The mere act, I'm sharing this example because it's appearing in the mind, not exactly related, but how one simple gesture or simple action can change the lives of people. Just for the sake of sharing, I'm sharing this. During the Nazi time of uh, during the Nazi regime, the Jews were brought to the concentration camps. There, when all they were getting down from the train and then they were being taken to the camp, there would be an officer, which I read somewhere, sitting there. He'll be looking at the people and then say, pointing to each one of them, you go here, like this. Only two lines, here, 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 like this. One of the lines, they were killed instantly. Other lines, they were taken to toil before they were actually killed later. So just one act, it made a sea of difference for the people's lives. Though not the correct example, in the same way, just one sankalpa would change the destiny of the uh, the yogi, the karma yogi, or the abhyasi. Says Ramanujan on page 313, Aho Mahadidam Vaichitrim Yat. He says, oh, what a wonderful thing is this. Ekasminneva karmani vartamanaha sankalpamatra bhedena kechit atyalpa phalabhaginaha shavana swabhavaha cha bhavanti. Kechana anavadika atishaya ananda parama purusha prapti rupa phalabhaginaha apunaravartinaha cha bhavanti iti aha. So, one simple step or simple activity, that sankalpa, it changes the destiny of people. Kechit, some people, by not offering that, not doing the sattvika tyaga, what they do is they become the experiencer of the fruits of those karma. The fruits are very alpa, swalpa, and they also fall from grace and they're being born again and again. Whereas some, by giving up the fruits of the karma, by performing the karma to please Bhagavan and doing a sankalpa before to this effect, what they do, they get to enjoy Bhagavan himself, unlimited bliss. This shloka explains that the 25th verse on page 313. Yanti devavrata devan pitrun yanti pitruvrataha bhutani yanti bhutejya yanti madhyajinopi mam. Devavrataha yanti devan. Those who are after the devas, they attain the devas, they go to the worlds. It is believed that there are many devatas and each devata has a world. But even that world would be destroyed at the time of dissolution. Therefore, even Brahmaloka Paryantam, Brahma Patta Paryantam, they say. So all these are destructible. They will attain Vinasha at some point of time. Therefore, those who propitiate the devatas, they go to devatas. Those who propitiate the males, Pitrus, they go to the Pitru world. Bhutani, worshippers of Bhutas, they go to the Bhuta Loka. And then Mad Yajinaha, Mam Yanti, he says. Whereas those who resort to me, those who worship to me, they come to me, they come to Sri Kuntha, from where there is no point of return. Now, what do we expect? Arjuna, what do I expect? Page 314. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakthyupakritam ashnami prayatatmanah. Bhaktya yah me mahyam me patram va pushpam va phalam va toyam va prayachati. Atyanta sulabha. I am atyanta sulabha, that I accept that offering made with devotion. Prayata Atmanaha, which means with a pure heart. With a pure heart, I am such a sulabha that it is these kind of even simple things would please me. But only what is important is the offering. We know there are, see, the activity or the purpose of the Itihasa Puranas is to expand and highlight these kind of aspects in the scriptures. Like we know that Krishna went to Duryodhana's place where he was offered dinner in the Kaurava camp, but he did not take that offer. Instead, he went to Vidra's house, I think Vidra's house. There, you know what happened? Like out of bhakti, he was offered only the plantain skin and not the fruit. Out of bhakti, somebody has come home, a great person has come home, or acharya or pracharya has come home. We don't know what to do. We'll be keeping running here and there, putting things, whatever. Other time we won't understand what to do. Likewise, out of bhakti, when he was offered only the skin, told like this, Krishna ate that very happily. Now that bhava was very important for Krishna and not the fruit, or because he does not require something extra to get pleased. He is already fully pleased, but he expects only that bhava. He is such a sulabha. So that is the point here. Then Krishna asks Arjuna to be such a kind of bhakta, such a kind of jnani. On page 316, shloka 27, Yat karoshi yadashnasi yajjuhoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. So whatever you do, yat karoshi yadashnasi yajjuhoshi dadasi yat. Whatever laukika karma you do, whatever you eat, whatever Vaidika karma you do, everything, whatever austerities you practice, Arjuna, do that, do that as an offering to me. That's why we say Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Again, you're going to see a story, but I've heard the story already, but it's good to relate to this verse of Krishna. Once Narada went to Tirupar. He was chanting Narayana, Narayana like this, and then he was going to meet Vishnu. Incidentally, here a question may be asked: how does Narada go and meet Vishnu and come back? As he already attained moksha, or where is he like this? We will not go into those aspects of the story. So we will just understand that Narada goes to visit Vishnu to do some Kushla Prashna, just say how are you and things like this. Then he sees Vishnu to be peeping from his bed. Vishnu is seen peeping into the earth, to the world below. So Narada is he thinks highly of himself, and he is wondering how Vishnu has not taken notice of his coming. He is chanting Narayan Narayan like this with the veena playing also. So he is a bit surprised, and then he also joins Vishnu in seeing what is there downstairs or down. Then Vishnu tells him that he was just looking at a bhakta. Narada, this bhakta of mine, is a very great bhakta. So I was just enjoying by looking at him how he shows his bhakti to me. Narada was very taken aback because he thought he was the greatest bhakta. 24 by 7, 365, he chants the name of God. So he wanted to know who the bhakta was. Then Vishnu showed him that bhakta was a poor farmer. He was a poor peasant. He had his own piece of land, and then he was going about to doing agriculture activity. But when he woke up in the morning, he would say Hari 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 like this, and then whatever activity he did, the next activity, he would chant Bhagavan's name, and then at the end also he would thank Bhagavan, and then he was doing his activities like this. Narada was surprised. He said, "You know what I'm doing? I Triloka Sanchari, but I never miss to chant your name. How do you think he is greater than me?" Then Bhagavan he said, "Okay, let me put you to test. I will give you a cup of oil. You please take this cup very carefully. You go about doing your work, be a Triloka Sanchari, but ensure that not even a drop of oil spills from this cup. The cup is full." Narada said, "It's not a very big task for me," and then he took it. He went around the three worlds and then came back sweating. Then he told to Bhagavan that, yes, I have come back successfully. Not even a drop of oil it got spilled. So the oil is intact in this cup, and then he gave the cup back to Bhagavan. Bhagavan also was very happy, but he asked Narada, "How many times you remembered me?" While carrying the cup of oil, while ensuring that not even a single drop of oil it spilled out, how many times you remembered me? Then Narada was really surprised to know that he did not even think about Bhagavan once. Why? Because he was focused so much on the activity that he did not get to think about Bhagavan. Then he realized this mistake, and then he also realized the glory of the poor farmer. Though he was a poor farmer, he did not have much this thing. Yet at each and every step, he remembered God. Now that story can be compared to this verse. So Bhagavan says, "Whatever you do, you offer that thing to me. Do it as an offering to me. Do that as an offering to me." And Bhagavan is obviously pleased. Then he says, what happens to that person? If Arjuna is like that person, what will happen to him? Shubha Shubha Palay Rebam Mokshase Karma Bandhanaihi Sanyasa Yoga Yuktatma Vimukto Mam Upaishyasi. That person or Arjuna, you will free yourself from both Shubha and Ashubha. Punya is also bondage. Punya also leads to bondage. It is not that only Papa leads to bondage, even Punya leads to bondage. Therefore, the person who is going to be like this, who is going to conduct like what I said, is going to free himself from all the Punya and Papa. Okay, and then after getting liberated, he will attain me or you will attain me. Then very interestingly, Krishna is leading uh, Arjuna to talk about his universal sameness to everybody. He does not differentiate anybody, but of course he goes with what the Shastra says. But yet he says that he is common or he is the same to everybody. Samoham sarva bhuteshu namedveshyosti na priyaha ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya mahite teshu chapyaham. Arjuna, I am actually the same to all of my creation. I do not favor anybody. I do not hate anybody. But if there is a bhakta who is deeply devoted to me, to him I abide. To him I abide, and then like how he listens to me, I will also listen to him. Like this, he says here. We can say again our own acharyas and ayuvars, they are the examples of this kind of bhaktas. And Bhagavan says, I don't look at the jati of a bhakta, the gender of a bhakta, the status of a bhakta. I see nothing. I see only people. So all stand a chance of becoming by bhaktas. I don't favor anybody until they become my bhaktas. But if they become a bhaktas, then I do favor them. We can relate to a story of Bhishma in this. You know, Bhishma, he Krishna made a shapata. He said, I will not take up any arms during the battle. While he gave his army to Kaurava and he gave himself to Arjuna, Krishna said to Duryodhana that he will not take up weapons. So Bhishma came to know about this. He said, let me do a counter vow. I will make Krishna take up weapons. Like this he said. And then during the battle, one day Bhishma, he fought very fiercely. He almost captured all the Pandavas. He was about to hit Arjuna. Arjuna was really afraid that he knew that if Bhishma is going to hit him, then he may get killed also. Now, Krishna had already promised that he will not take up weapons, but Bhishma had countered that vow. So that was a moment when Krishna had to take a weapon, but he did not carry any. So what he did was, he took up the wheel of the chariot and then was about to throw at Bhishma. The beautiful picture is you can see in the internet drawn by ISKCON. Of course, Sri Kesha would have also drawn very beautifully Krishna for today in the series. But now, who lost and who won? Did Krishna lose because he went back on his vow, or did Bhishma he win because he made Krishna take up the weapon? It is Bhagavan made the Bhakta to win. Bhagavan made the Bhakta to Bhagavata to win. So that is the so Krishna does favor when people become his bhaktas, but until that time he is same to everybody. He gives a chance to everybody. Like who? He says in 30th verse that apichet sudhura charo bhajate mamananya bhak sadhure vasamantavyah samyak vyavasito hi saha. Then uh, okay, the 32nd verse is going to list who are all being who are eligible to attain Krishna. Okay, here apichet sudhuracharo bhajate ma mananya bhak sadhureva samantavyah samyak vyavasito hi saha. Krishna is talking about the achara part of a bhakta. We all have this problem, at least some of us, while following our rituals and achara. We are skeptical about others achara. We are skeptical about others achara and perhaps find the differences. And it's a lot of practically people face a lot of challenges in dealing with others when they follow a certain achara. So Bhagavan says here, look at my bhakta, even if he lacks in his achara, even if he lacks in his achara, he is a true bhakta. Nobody should actually disregard him. Sadhureva samantavyah. He should be regarded as holy. Samyak vyavasito hi saha. Because he has rightly resolved in his mind that Bhagavan is everything. But maybe due to vasanas, maybe due to his inability, he is not able to translate that vyavasaya in his actions. So he is behind in his conduct, which should actually match the resolution in the mind. But on the same way, in the same way, we may also find people who take much care to show good conduct, but here they lack the vyavasaya. It is possible, and the people are there. Hypocrites, to let us say we are all hypocrites proportionately or in some measure, but there could be people who are very particular that they maintain a clean image and the conduct, but internally they may not have that vyavasaya. In contrast, there could be some people who have the vyavasaya in them, but who lack in the conduct, that are not able to meet the standards, let us say. Even then, Bhagavan says, even then, because he is my bhakta, I am dear to him and he is dear to me. If there is any lack in his conduct, it is okay. He should be regarded as a good bhakta. I want to share a Prabandha verse, which perhaps I think is an inspiration for Tondradi Pudiyaivar when he said this in his Tirumalai, which is also a debatable Pasuram. Hmm? வானுலார் அரியலாக வானவா என்பராகில் தென்லாம் துலபமாலை சென்னியா என்பராகில் ஊனமாயினகள் செய்யும் ஊனக்கானகர்களேலும் போனகம் செய்த சேடம் தருவரேல் புனிதமன்றே. It is the 41st verse in Tirumalai, where composed by Tondradi Pudiyaivar. Who are not aware, Tondaradi Pudiyaivar, he is an Alvar, one among the 12 Alvars. He says in his 41st verse that ஊனமாயினகள் செய்யும் ஊன காரகர்களேலும் போனகம் செய்த சேடம் தருவரேல் புனிதமன்றே. He says, to get the meaning quickly if possible. Okay, anyway, I will share it later, but that verse can be linked to this Pasuram, or this Pasuram can be linked to this verse, is what I feel. But there are Sampradaya Bheda in understanding that Pasuram. We will not go into that, but just to give a relation, just share that. And then the 31st shloka, if someone were to come with a question, can there be a person like that who has bhakti in Bhagavan, but who is lacking in his conduct in achara? Then Bhagavan says, Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat shantim nigacchati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Page 320, 31st verse, Bhagavan says, quickly he becomes righteous. See, that resolution is the most challenging stuff to get. He has got that. Conduct is nothing. He will get the conduct very quickly. Quickly he becomes righteous and obtains everlasting peace. And Arjuna, know from me that my devotee never perishes. So Bhagavan expects that bhava, which is very difficult to get. Unnum soru paruganir thinnam vetchilem ellam Kannan, said Nammalvar. Unnum soru paruganir thinnam vetchilem ellam Kannan. Acharyas, they say, Kannan unnum soru paruganir thinnam vetchile. So that is the bhava. So if that bhava is possessed by someone, then he is a great bhakta, and it does not matter if he is not up to the mark with respect to the actual conduct as per Shastras. Now, 32nd verse, which is a very interesting verse, and also let us say a controversial verse with respect to modern world. Mam hi parthavyapashritya ye pisyuh papayonayah ye pisyuh papayonayah striyo vaishyas tatha shudras te piyanti param gatim kim punar brahmana punya bhakta rajarshayasthatha anityamasukham lokam imam prapya bhajasva mam. These two verses, they seem to be favoring. It appears like Krishna is favoring the first two varnas, and that too the men of first two varnas, the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. He says he keeps them on one side, then he says on the other side, all the let us say the who attained Papa Yoni, means not the best of births, women, Vaishyas, then Shudras, all these are also eligible to attain me. Bhagavan says like this. Then if this is the case, what to say more about Brahmanas and Kshatriyas? So they if they are able to attain this yoga, the yogas which I've been telling, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, these Brahmanas and Kshatriyas can easily attain me, because anybody is eligible to attain me, says Bhagavan. Now let us look at this two verses. Let us try to look at these two verses in the right context. The means to attain Bhagavan as per the Upanishads, Gita, etc., even Brahma Sutra, is Upasana. Upasana or Bhakti Yoga, Dhyana, etc. For such a Upasana, Dhyana, etc., the eligibility comes with the again eligibility to study the Vedas and to carry out the karma as prescribed in the Vedas. The ability to perform all the yagas and yajnas mentioned in the Vedas. Even within those who are eligible to perform the yagas, some have the eligibility to even conduct it for others' sake. So therefore, namely the Brahmanas, they have two responsibilities or two roles. One is they can perform sacrifices on their own, or they can officiate sacrifices. Kshatriyas, most of them can perform their own sacrifices. Some, if they perform some other yajnas, then they acquire the capability to appreciate the yajnas of others. So in essence, we can say both Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, they have the eligibility to do for themselves and also to help others do their sacrifices. So those two naturally become eligible for the upasana because they can do any activity as prescribed in the Vedas, let us say. What about others? Though Vaishyas, they can do adhyayana, they are not eligible to perform all the sacrifices. Women, as per the Varnashrama Dharma, women along with the Shudras, the eligibility for them to study, do adhyayana of the Vedas, etc. is not allowed. Now, if you look at the scriptures, there are contradicting views and contradicting instances. Like if you, there were very learned women in the Upanishads, stories of Upanishads, Rishi Patnis. Also, if you look at Ramayana, like Itihasa Puranas, we know that the royal queens like Kausalya, they had also managed some daily Agni related rituals, Agni Hotra, etc. So we are not very clear as to how certain things were allowed for some and not for others. But let us not go into that detailed discussion now. Here, what it means is that everybody can take refuge in me. Everybody can take refuge in me. And why Krishna says Papa Yonayaha? Because it is not that people have to commit such a sin to be born as Vaishya or women. Or, no, that's not the point. The point is that compared to the first two Varnas, these people have not done such a kind of merit. Therefore, it is like saying Papa, but not actually Papa. Now, one more thing is Uttamur Sri Viragavacharya, very learned scholar. What he says is that women, they support their husbands while they do their rituals. Now, who gets the merit of those rituals? They both share the merits. If the husband does a Vedic sacrifice that will make him attain Swarga, Uttamur Swami Viragavacharya says, if the lady, the wife of that person has also the right to go to heaven along with the person, along with the husband, along with their husband. So, which means, why don't the benefit of upasana also be extended to the wife of the upasaka? So, there he says, Shastra does not permit that because moksha is very individual. Moksha is very individual. Each and every person has to perform or adopt a upaya. Now, Prapatti has come into picture for these kind of people who are not able to take up the upasana as prescribed in the Upanishads. Therefore, now here a hint is given in the Bhagavad Gita. Though Bhagavad Gita is about only Bhakti Yoga, Acharyas feel that in verses like this, in other verses also, couple of verses, Bhagavan gives a hint that Prapatti is also an upaya. Only thing is, these people, they cannot take up upasana and come to or attain moksha, but they can resort to me and then eventually they will also attain moksha. Therefore, that should be the spirit understanding this verses. Why? Because the Varnashrama Dharma is Bhagavan himself, he said, Chaturvarnyam Maya system. That is the order of creation, he said. Therefore, these two verses, they give a view, they give a hint to the Prapatti as an upaya. So Bhagavan says, by taking refuge in me, everybody can attain the supreme state. And the last verse of this Adhyaya, Bhakti Swarupamaha. How to show that Bhakti Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi yuktvaivam atmanam matparayanaha. Manmana bhava. So focus your mind on me. Page 322. Mad bhakto. Be devoted to me alone. Madhyaji. So be my worshipper or whatever yaga yajna you do. Let me be the object of the yaga yajna. Namaskuru, mam namaskuru, bow down to me only. Engaging mame vaishasi yuktva evam atmanam matparayanaha. So if you be like this, eventually you will attain me, which is the supreme goal. Here Ramanuja, he gets into, whenever it comes to talking about Bhagavan, whenever it comes to describing Bhagavan, he will not mince any words. He will give entire focus there. So he says, Manmana Bhava, Mai Sarveshware, Nikileheya Pratyaneka Kalyanekatane, Sarvajne, Satya Sankalpe. Like this, Bhagavan lists all the adjectives that are applicable for Ramanuja. He lists all the adjectives and qualities he brings out of Bhagavan. So he says, so be like this. So be like this. Do each and every activity to please me with a focused mind. Manmana bhava, mad bhaktaha, be devoted to me always. All mad yaji, be my worshipper, etc. So by doing this, he says, mameva aishyasi. Aishyasi means you will attain me for sure. So the commentary, though it looks big, when we go through, we have seen these aspects in the previous commentaries. So nothing that is very unique or special to explain some aspects of Vishita Veda. Therefore, we skip the commentary here. And then with this, we end the 9th chapter. Then we will continue with the 10th chapter in the next session. But let me go through let me read the commentary, the introduction to the 10th chapter, the first shloka, for the sake of continuity. Bhakti yogaha saparikaraha uktaha. Idanim bhaktyutpattaye tad vivrdhaye cha bhagavato nirankusha aishwaryadi kalyana guna gana anantyam kritsnasya jagataha tat sharirataya tadatmakatvena tat pravatyatam cha prapanchate. Shri Bhagavanuvacha bhuya eva mahabaho shuname paramam vajah yatteham praniya priyamanaya vakshyami hitakamyaya. Dhanyavadaha. Now it's time for questions or any feedback. Yes. I leave the forum open now. Yes, others.
Actually, can you explain me that word meaning of yajna? Yaj means Deva Puja, no? That is the root.
Yaja Deva Pujayam. Yeah.
Okay.
Yaja means Deva Pujayam. Yeah, Yajna, it comes from this. Yeah.
Okay. Then, like, why was the word puja used separately from yajna?
There are other forms of worship also apart from yajna, no?
Okay. So yajna means only the fire worship should only be referred to as yajna.
The Vedic ritual per se is yajna. Puja could be from Agama also, or other. So many pujas are being done, which is not exactly related to yajna. Without the fire, maybe. Yes, as you say.
Okay. But in the Bhagavad Gita itself, there in the 4th Adhyaya, I think, the different types of yajnas too, Deva yajna,
yes.
Deva Pare yajnam, and then the Dravya yajna, Tapo yajna,
yes.
Yoga yajna.
Yeah.
So is there any reference to Agni there, or
yajna means actually a sacrifice. Yajna means a sacrifice. But let us say the Panchamaha Yajna is there, no? Panchamaha Yajna, Bhuta Yajna is there. So Bhuta Yajna, now there it is not referring to the Devatas. So it is a name given to that Bhuta Yajna. Yajna. It is also Yajna in that sense.
Okay. So
So though technically, technically Yajna means Yaja Deva Pujayam like this, but practically it is being extended to other activities also.
Okay, if there is a dravya tyaga, it is considered as a yajna.
Exactly, yes.
Is it correct?
The Tyaga Bhava is being mentioned there, yes.
Okay. And then in that shloka, Manmana Bhava, Magdasta and Madhyaji. So is Manmana Bhava referring to the mental state and Yaji refer to the physical work? Does it refer to physical and mental?
Yes, we can take it like that. And the Mad Bhakto can be even belong to the Dharma Bhota Jnana also, showing having the Jnana filled with the devotion for Bhakta, or for Bhagavan. So we can say that three forms of Karna, we can also infer that. Manovakaya. Even that can be understood. Mana is the mana, mad bhakto means could be vak, and mad yaji could be the kaya. With these three, mam namaskaru.
Okay. And then usually, this is a general question that I'm asking. When we do any japa, so we generally close the eyes and repeat mantra. So when we close the eyes, should we should our mind be focused on any image or mantra sound?
Mantra chanting itself a yaga actually, yajna. I'm not an expert to answer this question. Yet I would say it depends on the person only. Some mantras could have an akara. Some mantras, for example, the Dvaya mantra, the meaning is a focus in the Dvaya mantra. But you can, as you say, we can also imagine Bhagavan's divine feet when you say Dvaya mantra, Sriman Narayana Charanau. You can imagine or you can visualize the divine feet of Bhagavan. So it all depends on our capability, the individual's capability to what to focus upon.
Okay. Okay, Swami, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, then I assume there are no more questions. We'll meet on Friday. Dhanyavadaha.
Dhanyawad.
धन्यवादः नमस्कारः
Namaskara.
धन्यवादः नमस्कारः अडियन्
Namaskara. Dhanyavadaha.